This is Hannibal here, and today I have a special guest, ECW original, ECW legend, Mustafa, former tag team partner of New Jack and ECW. He's wrestled for WWE. He's done it all. Looking lean and mean today. How are you doing today, sir?
Well, I'm doing good, man. Just taking it easy, man. Keeping up with wrestling, um, the bloodline a little bit because Jacob Fatu used to work with us a lot in California. So that's how we do that, you know.
Did you see the pay-per-view today?
No, I don't. I don't really have time to be watching them like that. But I just wait till the afterwards, after shock.
Okay. Yeah, so Jacob Fatu, do you have any stories about him you could share? He's kind of the big deal now in WWE.
Well, we did SPW out here. We did a show and he was in the show, the anniversary show, and I told him, I said, man, you better get ready, man. You know, because of the fact is that I said that is because of the fact is that I knew that they were gonna get him. You know, he's such a great talent, and we worked against each other, him and his brother Journey. We had a tag match a long time ago, and the Tonga Kid was came out with him. You know, his dad and stuff. And we had a great match. It was a ladder match, and we had a great match. And then years prior to that, we had the anniversary. And I told him, I said, "Get ready, man. They're gonna get you." And he said, "No, I don't know yet." And I said, "No, they're gonna get you, brother. You better be ready." And he was ready when he got there.
Yeah, you're still doing ladder matches at this stage of your career?
Well, not anymore. What I'm doing, I still wrestling though. I still had a wrestling show a week ago. I was down in Vacaville, so I'm still doing my shows. And as long as I stay in shape enough, and you got to know how to work in this business. You know, that's
Yeah.
what's gonna keep you. I don't care how tough you are, or whatever. If you don't know how to work, it'll shorten your career.
So what's the company you're working for now if anyone's in that area and wants to come check you out?
Well, I work for different companies, man. Got Ugly Dojo, and then we got SPW, and then whatever whoever else has a show, and the timing is right. I go to them.
How did you come up with the name Mustafa?
Well, it started with Jody Hamilton when I was at WCW, and we didn't have a name before my match. You know, before I'm about to do a jobber match, and he asked me. He said, "Man, what's your?" He said, "What's your last name?" I said, "Well, I'm Jamal Mustafa." So I said Mustafa, and he said, "Okay, we'll come up with Mustafa Saeed," and the rest is history. Jody Hamilton, the assassin.
Sorry, there seems to be some delay on my end.
That's
What
all
would
good.
what kind of experience did you have with Jody? Because I know he trained some people really hard. Batista famously quit that school and still holds a grudge to it to this day. What
Well,
was your personal experience?
my personal experience was I was with Gene Anderson of the original Minnesota Wrecking Crew, and that was Gene, Lars, and Ole at the time. And Lars left, and then Ole came through, and then we know the history of the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. If you've been back in those days in the Mid Atlantic area, all through the Carolinas. But anyway, Gene had hooked me up to go to WCW, and he still had a ties with them a little bit, and well, it was a whole lot, to be honest with you. But the thing that I remember the most is he sent me there, and we went down to the power plant. Sarge, all them, Sergeant Parker, and the guys, Pez Watley, those there were trainers for us. And getting back to the what I was originally about to say was that Gene hooked me up with Jody Hamilton. And so Jody Hamilton, we got along, and he told me that he said, "Yeah, Mustafa Saeed would be a good name for you." And the name I use now is just to have some fun. and everything is Mustafa Money Loves Me, Saeed.
I like it. Did Lars Anderson ever try and stretch you at all whenever you encountered him? Because Tony Atlas was telling me that he had a bit of a mean streak for the younger guys.
Well, I did. Lars was gone by the time I got to the wrestling school up there with Gene. But Gene told me about Lars, and he told me about the story about Ole too. When Ole first got there, they were like a 3-man tag and things like that. So Lars just got tired of being down in the Carolinas because it is rough the travel. You got to go through the back country roads to get to places sometimes, and the schedules can be rough. And so Ole and Gene stuck it out, but Gene told me that Lars does like to shoot on you. Ole will try it too. You know what I'm saying? Ole will try it too, though.
Did you have much interaction with Ole? Because he was probably still hanging around the power plant a bit in those days.
Well, back in the Carolinas, I see him every now and again. And when we got to Smoky Mountain, that's when I started seeing him a little more often. And he was a straight up dude. I know that we hear everything about racism and all these other things that's going on, which is it is true. But I don't believe in it that way. I think he just hate. It's love, hate, evil, good. You know, so you got to deal with it. You got to deal with it when it comes.
Yeah, and with your look and personality, it's not like too many people are going to get racist with you in the
Right.
wrestling business. Like, you're a pretty intimidating guy. So was your first match actually a television match with WCW?
Well, let's see. I would say no. I went to WWF first. So they just sent that Saturday. We had just finished wrestling school, and I went home, chilled out after and said, "All right, Gene, I'll check you later." And Gene said, "I'm gonna give you a call on Sunday." So I was watching the WWF. What show was that? It was Saturday night. I think it might have been a Saturday night main event, if I'm not mistaken. And I just watched Andre the Giant, Haku, different people, and that Monday, well, let's go back. Let's keep back a little bit. On the Sunday, Gene gave me a call and he said, "Hey, brother, they call it WWF, which is WWE. They call it New York." He said, "Brother, you going to New York? Here goes all the information and everything. Get yourself ready for Monday and leave, and get ready to go." So the next thing you know it, man, we drove up, man, and went WWF. And the next thing you know, we was at the building, and I had my bags with me, and I just happened to see a door, man, and a lot of wrestlers was walking around. So I just walked in. Next thing I know it, the same guy I'm watching on TV on a Saturday, he looking right at my face, Andre the Giant. I thought I was in the wrong dressing room, man. You know. So Haku and those guys were sitting there and they was playing cards and stuff. And Andre had his 2 big bottles of wine chilling. And a couple of other guys asked me, who trained you? And I said, Gene Anderson. "Oh, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew?" I said, "Yeah, Gene Anderson." "Oh, put your bags down, brother. You can chill out in here." So they let me chill out in there, man. And the rest is history.
Nice. Were you nervous at all going into the ring for the first time for a major company? Because most people will start in front of 20 or 30 people and finally get to the enhancement matches.
Well, I always tell people all the time, man, if you don't have butterflies before you get in that ring, you better quit. Because you're going to get hurt. You're going to take it for granted and you're going to want the bad move and it's over. So, yes, I still get the butterflies. I still get them now.
That's good to hear. In WCW, you worked with Too Cold Scorpio. How were those matches, and what do you think about the current situation that he's in right now with what happened to him during his security guard job?
Well, man, I hope he's all right, man, and I hope he gets himself get himself out of that. And the evidence proves that he's innocent. hopefully, you know what I'm saying. And I don't. That's it's easy. See, a lot of people say, well, how in the world you get yourself in that situation? It's easy to get in a situation like that. You can go in the store, you can go into a bar, anything can happen. You know, people might want to try you, you know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, it's on.
Yeah, and he was doing security by himself.
Yes.
And I guess the guy attacks him. He doesn't know what kind of weapon this guy has, and
Right.
he happens to have a weapon. So, but we know Scorpio's tough. I mean, I wrestled him. I know he's tough.
Oh yeah, he's definitely tough. He's definitely tough. When I worked him, he was stiff and great at the same time. And but I didn't have no problem with it because I was still well. Sometimes I am still green in the business. I was green in the business. I thought that was normal to get hit like that. You know, chopped in the chest, hitting the back of your neck, and I heard some guys say, "Oh man, that guy's stiff," and I didn't at that time. I thought that was normal.
Yeah, that's the same with me. When I started, some people were roughing me up. I didn't even realize it till later because you have nothing to base it off of.
Yeah. So
One
you
guy,
know, I had no problem with it. You know what I'm saying? So
one guy that was kind of green his whole career was Van Hammer, and I see you wrestled him. What was that like? Because he was horrible.
well, Van Hammer, it taught me a lot about teaching other guys to work too. So as I'm learning, I'm helping him out, and he's helping me out, and we just trying our best, or take that back, not just trying. We were doing our best out there at that time, and yes, he did have a part where he just didn't know how to work at times on certain things, but I did too. So we just put it together, and when we came back at the end of the day, Bill Watts looked at it and said, all right," and just kept on walking and kept on walking by.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. How was Eric Watts? Speaking of Bill Watts, because I know you wrestled his son too, and did you get a sense of the heat that he had backstage in those days?
Well, it always that's always going to happen, man. I played for my dad in basketball in high school, um, and the same thing it happens, and same thing with Eric. Me and Eric was cool. Shoot, I thought we had a decent match at that time with when I had my lemony lime tights on and everything. But yes, he did have some heat, and you have to learn how to keep to. If you learn how to keep to yourself more and just think about what you need to do, a lot of times, I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of times you will not get caught up in the backstage stuff back there.
Did you happen to hear about that fight that he says he got into with Ravishing Rick Rude around that time?
I heard the rumors, but I wasn't personally there. Didn't see anything like that.
I'm just looking up right now that lemony lime tights that you're talking about when you wrestled Eric Watts. You were jacked back then. You were
Oh yeah,
lean and
man.
ripped.
The power plant gets you in shape, man. And you know, watching the other veterans come down there and work out, which was a lot of body weight exercises we did. The squats and the push-ups, Hindu push-ups. I was doing Hindu push-ups and all kind of stuff, man. And and we worked out in the morning, so you basically almost do a match in the morning before you go to the night at the center stage.
What was the most Hindu squats that they made you do in a row? Here's a screenshot for any of the fans. Like there's a physical specimen right there.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I used to look from a distance and watch Smiley. You know I'm talking about Smiley.
No,
Um,
Norman Smiley.
Norman Smiley, yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay,
Norman,
yeah, yeah.
man, that dude. I watched him work out one time from a distance, and before his match, and it looked like his workout was a match. You know what I'm saying? Watching what he was doing to get himself, loosen up and everything. And I said, man, I got I got to start doing some of that stuff Norman's doing. And we like I said, we only met a couple of times, and it was a long, long time ago. So I don't know if you remember me or not. But I started copying everybody. I watched the Steiners. I watched the different people in the back work out, and they come down to the power plant, and I'll start doing those workouts. I did a lot of bridges because of Tuco. Watching Tuco, I used to bridge, but I didn't bridge a whole lot, just warm up. And then I started noticing Tuco was doing a lot of bridges and stuff. So I started doing that way more.
I know you wrestled Cactus Jack too, who went on to a lot of fame, became WWE champion. What was he like?
Man, Cactus is cool, man. He told me, "Hey, brother, this is what we're gonna do." And went out there, man, and he flew off that when he flew off the mat to do that elbow drop on me. And I said, "What?" And I got myself ready for it. And he hit, and we got up, and the rest is history. But the thing that I remember the most was I knew Cactus was going to make it through because what he was doing was way different. He was taking some crazy bumps. I'm gonna tell you that.
And Davey Boy Smith, one of the all-time greats. You're taller than him here. How was that match?
Man, I think Davey Boy was one of the coolest guys to work with ever. Um, he asked me, what are you good at? And I said, Davey, you go ahead and call out the match, man, and how you want to do it. He said, well, we're going to call a lot of it out there in the ring, or whatever. And he told me, he said, you're going to be all right. And you take care of me, I take care of you, kind of thing. And we smiled, and then boom, went and did the match. And the brother's strong. I'm gonna tell you though, when he got you up for that power slam, it was not a problem. I'll tell you that.
Larry wants to know who were some of the tough guys in the dressing room and who were some of the bullies. Not that anyone ever would have bullied you.
Well, like as far as bullies, I didn't see any bullies, but you know, being in back of the dressing room, it's usually a lot of job guys are just shooters. That's what a lot of people don't know. I thought Steven Regal was a tough guy. I thought Steven Regal never met Fit Finley, but I thought Steven Regal was a tough guy, and I can look at certain people. I can tell Tuco could take care of himself. Right, definitely Ryan Simmons. You know, so I didn't really run across the bully part, but I did know that you can look at certain people and know they can take care of themselves.
A lot of people say Bill Watts was a bully. Did you have much experience with him? I'm guessing as an extra, you might not have dealt with him too much.
Well, not much, but the thing about it is you have to remember is that there's a difference between bookers and promoters, which a lot of people already know that. But some bookers try to be promoters, some promoters try to be bookers, which I'm not saying Watts was. But when the people who are in charge of things like that, they really don't have as much power as you think, because it keeps going to the top, and you'll never meet the people up there really at the top like you think.
Craig wants to know, how did you hook up with New Jack and what were your first thoughts of him? I'm guessing it was after WCW.
Well, we hooked up way before that. We were in the streets, hanging out, off and on. And Jack was doing his thing, and I was out there doing my thing. And it's funny, you know, the activities that was done outside in the streets was I had to hurry up and get myself together too, as far as the wrestling ranks. But that's how I met Jack out in the streets, and we did a few things together before wrestling, and then we come to find out that we were both wrestling, and that's how we got together.
Oh, so you didn't even know that he wrestled at first.
We didn't know each other did wrestle like that because we didn't say anything like that.
Yeah.
We always, but we noticed that we always wanted to watch wrestling. So back in the day it was a VCR and VHS tape, and and we'll watch it over and over again. And I'm like, man, yeah, I wrestle. I said, oh, you do? I said, well, I do too. doing a little something for WCW, and that's how we started hanging out together.
Did he ever ask you to try and get him in WCW?
No. The Jack was his own man. Jack was a bounty hunter. Jack used to be a bounty hunter. Jack went to prison. Jack went through a lot of things, and I know that when we do this tag, that a lot of people be thinking the tag teams is going to get along all the time, and you don't. You have to weather the storm. And when he would get mad at me and do those shoot interviews, sometimes I deserve some of it. You know what I'm saying? It's no doubt. And I'm not even upset at him because I love him. You know what I'm saying? And he was my brother. You know, we were brothers, man.
Yeah, any brothers are gonna fight, and most tag teams fall apart at some point.
Yeah. Well, you
There's
know,
just
he had to do his own thing. Hannibal, you know what I'm saying? He wanted to do his own thing, and you know, like the show must go on. And I wasn't upset over it or nothing like that because New Jack was New Jack before I had got to him. You know, before I got work with him and stuff.
where you were more into the drinking than the other party stuff, right? Where he was more into in everything that goes into like the wild partying, right?
Right. I wasn't into the stuff up the nose because I just didn't. I was just awkward. I ain't knocking nobody. I was just awkward for me. And just like needles, you know, with the roids and other things, I just didn't like needles like that either. If I was going to take something, it took a pill if I was going to take anything. But I had did my steroid experiment in the military, powerlifting, being a power lifter. And I tried boxing, got beat up in boxing. I boxed though, and I was able to survive in that. And then I did wrestling too, wrestling people, Greco-Roman, going to these places and doing some Greco-Roman and getting beat up again. But you know, that's what I was doing it because of the fact is I was just getting myself ready. I thought I had for pro wrestling.
How far did you go in the military?
Well, I went. I was in the Air Force. I was security police, and you know, under the aliases. You know what I'm saying? So, but I was a security police, and I stayed there two years because I was trying to wrestle. So I tried to when I was trying out for the first time. Uh, Prior to that, I was still in the Air Force, and I got cut. Okay, I flew back to North Carolina. I was in Texas. Flew back to North Carolina and tried out in Gene. Man, they put you through it, man, at school. So I didn't make it through that first time. Then about 6 months later, he told me to come back through, and I came back through the second time. That's when I made it, and that's when I said I got to get out of the Air Force. It's time to do this wrestling.
Ivan wants to know any memories of your time in WWC Puerto Rico, 1999.
Oh, it was great. You know, at that time though, uh, you know, the thing that happened to, and I always wanted to say this too. They tried to, and you know, like I said, I'm not you know, the big name, and then everybody I know what I'm talking about. But they had put a thing out there, Pharaoh and Monty, you know, and they put out a thing that made me look like that Bruiser Brother deserved to get what he got, and I didn't say that. I said that you have to watch your back when you're down there. You know, you're in Puerto Rico, and Macho Camacho got it when he was down here. You know, hanging out in the streets. So you just have to watch out what you were doing. And I never wished no hate because Bruiser was one of my. Bruiser came to Mid Atlantic one time, maybe twice. And when he got there, man, I said, "Who is this dude?" And I always liked him, and try to emulate certain things about it.
Yeah, one thing that I suspect may have happened is they may have owed him money because they definitely aren't always honest with their money in WWC, in my experience. I think there may have been something to do more than just personal heat between those two.
Well, it was a big business. You know, he got down there, and you know, things happened, and I don't know. It wasn't back there, but I know that Puerto Rico is no joke. You just can't go down there and just go walk anywhere you think you want to walk. So I used to go and get my drugs and things like that from in them hoods and stuff like that. And you had to know somebody that knew somebody, and that's what I did. I partied, man, and I stayed. I partied, man, and I was never sober a lot, but I worked out a lot. So I knew that I was drinking and partying and having a good time, but then I would go work out right after I would do all the stuff I was doing.
Was Invader in WWC at that point, or at IWA already started then?
IWA had just about started when I was leaving, so it had just was started, and I didn't see Vader, but I did get to see D'Lo when he came down here at IWA.
Nice. Yeah, I had Pierre Carl Willette, PCO, tell me one of the first weekends, you can't act like you do at the bars in Canada here in Puerto Rico, or you're gonna get killed. They don't fight fair here.
Oh, in the streets, man, it ain't nothing. It ain't no fair. What's that? You know what I'm saying? Rules. What's that? You know, they would cut you. You know, down there. So you better know how to act when you're down there, man. And I love WCW. I mean, WWC. And it made you grow up fast. I tell you that. You grow up faster.
Yeah, for sure. You should make a comeback there at some point. You're looking in pretty good shape. You're doing kettlebells now, right?
Yeah, I've been doing the kettlebells for years. You remember when the COVID hit?
Yeah.
So I had bought some kettlebells right before that, and so I was working with them then. And then when the COVID hit, man, that's when I really got into them because you couldn't go to any gyms and do anything. So
Bargain Hunter wants to know if you have any memories of Barberville, Kentucky from Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Do you remember
oh,
that town?
oh yeah, well, you know I know we almost got arrested in a lot when we go when we was in Smoky Mountain. They took the gimmick, man, and they believed it through and through. Um, they thought we was the most racist group. They thought we was more racist they thought we was worse than Nation Islam, you know, or something, whatever. But which is a mistakenly too for something. Uh, the Barbersville. Tracy Smothers was our lawyer, rest his soul. He was the one that saved us a lot. He would go talk to the sheriff and the Klansmen and whoever was there, and he'd let them know that hey, come on, that's a work. It's a work. These guys are doing. We're trying to make some money here. So come on now, calm down.
Willie wants to know, were you ever around Tony Atlas much in your career?
No, I never was around Tony. I think we kind of passed by at the shows, and Tony was one of the guys that in Mid Atlantic came in as Tony White and Tony Atlas. We had admiration for them, but I always liked the heels. You know, I always liked the heels. I was always the Anderson brothers, Ernie Ladd when he would show up, Johnny Valentine, and then Wahoo. I always thought he always worked like a heel more than so. Wahoo was one of my favorites too.
Yeah, I understand he was very, very stiff. Craig wants to know if you have what's your best memory of the Gangstas in ECW? Anything stand out?
When we got arrested, you know, the gimmick where we got arrested on TV, and those cops was not playing. They had like, man, I'm glad they wasn't uh, in their mode like they normally would be arresting somebody, but it was damn near close to it. And after me and Jack, we was there, and they had us down, and they putting the handcuffs on us, man. And they were rough. They were rough, man, and that's the memory I have against Public Enemy. Uh, that was, I thought, the best memory that I had as far as first getting there in the show, and then we jumped the Public Enemy, and the cops came in there. Man, that was rough. I'll tell you.
Were you back there when New Jack had his fight with Brian Pillman, or do you know much about that fight?
I was in the dressing room, and at that time, I was smoking me some weed back there, and in the back, and I heard some noise. So of course I came running. I had a beer in my hand, and then I said, "Oh man, Jack about to," and like he was about to get in it with Brian, and they people got in between it before I got there, and so I got in between too, and see, hey man, what's going on? And then I found out what had happened after that. So that's why Jack was mad.
Because Pillman used the N word or something, right?
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. Well, the for TV, uh, I am a real ninja, no doubt. I have no shame to it, because we use the A at the end. But I am a real one. Shoot, I keep it real all the time as much as I can, and where I go and hang out, and these names go around, and a lot of people get mad and stuff like that. Hey, but as long as you don't put your hands on me, try to put your hands on me, I'm not the toughest guy in the world, but I will defend myself. So the thing about it is that I always wanted to have fun. And a lot of times, a lot of the wrestlers, there would be a lot of stuff going on in those dressing rooms, which you have witnessed too.
Oh yeah. Matthew wants to know any memories of the Eliminators matches.
Oh yeah, and we had some. It was easy to work with Saturn and
Cronus or
Cronus,
Kronos.
Cronus,
Yeah.
Cronus. Yeah,
What happened to him? Is he still alive?
no, Cronus is gone, man.
Okay.
Yeah, Cronus. I sometime when people go like that, I kind of blank out and don't remember their name because I don't want to remember them that last moment like that. Cronus and Saturn, I don't think they got along a little. Just like a lot of tag teams, sometimes they don't get along and stuff like that. But Cronus was a good dude and everything, and so it was one of those things that we had a good time though. We do those matches, man, and we have a good time. And me and Perry would pair off. Cronus and Jack would sometime, and then we'd switch back, and then we go with Cronus. And I had no problem with him either. We would do our thing, and man, it was great matches. We always had great matches.
This guy wants to know the story behind your one-off appearance in XPW at the Death Match tournament, as well as what led to your shocking ECW return during the benefactor angle with the Dudleys.
Oh yeah, well, they called me, man, and I went down to XPW, and I had a good time. Shoot, everybody got their favorites. When people, just cause a promoter call you and stuff like that, don't mean that you're gonna be his the favorite or something like that. A lot of times, you there for business and everything. And some of the guys have like you. Some guys might not. That ain't the point. The point is to do business and do what you got to do, and get out of there. And next thing you know, it went back to Jack wanted to do the thing because you get mad at you. So we would do but it was good business. I thought that that we would work against each other, and I had a good time. Even though. There were situations in the business, as I would say, and people don't get along at the time. But what you're trying to do is you're not there to be popular like that. You're there to do business and do what you got to do.
Very true. Dictor wants to know, he says, New Jack said that Corny used to call you guys the N word with the hard R. Is that true? It seems pretty crazy if he would do that.
Not it wasn't in front of us. If he did, I don't have nothing bad to say about Corny. Come on now. When you're behind closed doors, uh, uh, people say stuff. And who cares? You know what I'm saying? The point of the matter, what's hard for people to understand is that this is a business. And no, he never said anything in our face at all about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine he would have survived that. Is he? Have you ever seen him confronted by like a guy that could maybe beat him up? Does he still act tough? Like if it's a bigger guys, or is it mostly people he can pick on when he bullies people for Cornette?
Well, wasn't it Santino or somebody? Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, he went. Yeah, he got a temper. He's one of those guys that's uh, very smart, very intelligent about the business. Uh, Knows it through and through, and everything. And people like that, in my opinion, I call them geniuses. Paulie and those guys, like I call them geniuses, because they're too smart for their own good sometimes. So they like a little chihuahua sometimes in certain circles, you know what I'm saying? So they think they tough, you know.
Lewis says, "Did you think you were gonna die when New Jack cut that O.J. Simpson promo?" And for anyone that doesn't know about that, could you tell us that story?
Well, what it was Cornette wanted us to say something racial. He thought that would be he. And in the back of my mind, I thought that when you, I usually don't I keep it to myself because you know you can say things if you want to and put some input in, but at the end of the day, they're gonna make the decision. So he wanted to say something shocking, and I told him, I said, well, the point of it was, I told Jack, I said, Jack, man, you great with the promos. Why would I even start trying to talk and say anything? I said, first of all, most tag teams like to talk. Both of them talk. I said, let me go back to the old school where it was like Gene and Ole, and I copied that green print. I copied that, and so I went from there. But when Cornette said, "Hey, say something shocking," Jack said it, and no, I wasn't afraid of nothing like that. That's how some people feel about in any race and certain things. So some people feel like that, and some people don't. But the statement, once he said it, I said, "Well, let's on now. Let's do it."
Sean wants to know who picked out your ECW entrance song and how did you like it?
Um, Jack, it had to be New Jack because like we went through a couple of songs. We did Public Enemy. We did uh, Thugs in Harmony. A couple of them. Then hey, that song came out right at the right time. The timing was great. Natural Born Killers. Dre and Ice Cube, and it came out at the same time. The timing was great.
Jiggle 1017 wants to know if you ever hung out in Lonsdale, Austin Holmes, Western Heights, or Walter P. when you were in Knoxville.
Yes, we was in all of them, man. We was in there out. We was in there and hanging out, and man, we went to a couple of spots over there, and man, we had the breakfast of breakfasts. We had catfish, they had fried chicken, scrambled eggs, grits. You name it, it was made for us there, and we had a good time. We kicked it in a lot of those places.
Now you're making me hungry. Matthew wants to know, did Tommy Dreamer ever consider you for ECW One Night Stand in 2005 and 2006 when he was booking those for WWE? And if not, was it because you guys were too controversial, do you think?
Um, to tell the truth, me and Tommy, we get along. I, I was still drawing money, and that night when they said, "Oh, they were bringing the ECW stars in," Well, if you really name it, shit, they can bring anybody in because Stan Hansen and all those guys, uh, what was in ECW. I mean, these guys. Sometimes you think it's really an ego thing because we had Kevin Sullivan. The ECW had so many. Jimmy Snooker was there, and then you move on up, and then they tend to forget these guys opened the doors for us. And no, we didn't. I didn't get a booking or anything like that. But I was never. I didn't hold no grudge against Tommy Dreamer because I didn't get to go to WWE.
When was the last time you wrestled at the ECW arena? Would it have been for ECW?
Yes, yes. Well, my memory a little bit about that because remember, I partied, so but I would protect the guys now. If I know people looking at me a little bit a little crazy, but I would protect those guys. There's no doubt. My thing was to get high, get drunk, and then go work out, and then and train before these matches, and then once I get in there, man, I was good to go.
I know you've backed off from alcohol now, but when you were at your drinking peak, what would be your average a day for
Well,
number of drinks?
Well, I know during when we was in WC down in Puerto Rico, there was a lot of times I drank at least 18 to a case of beer before a match, but it was so damn hot down there you sweat it out. And I drank early. Around 2 or 3, and then I would go work out and just sweat and stuff like that. And then by the time you get that night, and none of the dressing rooms had AC. A lot of places that we went to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you just sweat it out, man, and then I go and work, man. And I drink, man. I mean, good time. I drink when I get there too. Shit.
Yeah, I can confirm I can't even think of one Puerto Rico dressing room that had AC, and I was there about 5 years after you.
Yes.
Someone's asking what city had the best rats?
Well, if you know how to work them, it's everywhere. You can go anywhere and get you some nice rats. You know what I'm saying? And have some fun. Uh, my thing was the party, and a lot of people wouldn't believe, especially being in New York. We wrestled in New York and up in Philly. The people we party with, I won't bring up any names because Diddy already doing that, so we ain't got to bring up no names. Some of the parties, but the people we party with, man, was great, and some of the people you think that you were hanging around with and other things with the rats of the night, the ladies. You'd be surprised who's a rat.
Big Nat wants to know what's the story behind using Wu-Tang Clan's Cream during the Mr. Mustafa character run.
Well, the thing about it is that we know cash rules everything around me. Get the cream, dollar bill, yo. So that was the first thing that came out. I was supposed to be the benefactor, and the money makes the world go around. And whether people believe it or not, money is everything. Now, some people are in denial about it, but it is everything. And if some of these people these Bible thumpers and stuff, go and read it in Ecclesiastes. It'll let you know that it is everything. So that's why that song was just right for the occasion.
Speaking of Bible thumpers, what's your thought on the whole thing with Ted DiBiase and his family and their Heart of David Ministries investigation?
Well, I don't know anything about what's going on with Ted because I didn't get into it like that. But man, when you running a ministry like that, they investigate you, man. You know what I'm saying? They was watching everybody. Anytime you gonna do that Bible thumping stuff, man, it comes with some consequences.
Yeah, I think Jake Roberts gave up on that.
Yes, smart.
Someone wants to know about your vignette for the Undertaker storyline you guys did in Smoky Mountain. How was it working with the Undertaker? doing
Okay,
that whole.
now this man actually using a big word. I'm about to Google that vignette, but I know he's talking about. But what we did was Corny wanted to uh, Jim Cornette wanted to say, hey man, we need a good gimmick uh, angle for Taker is coming, Big Mark coming, and so we went to the graveyard there, man, and man, it was kind of spooky, but it was fun though. We had a good time. Big, let's see, Mark was there, D'Lo, Jack, and myself. So we had a good time.
How did you get along with Sandman backstage?
Oh, it was good. Me and Sandman was good. Sometimes he's got a slick mouth. You know, so some people take it wrong what he's be saying, but to me it was real. So he was cool with me. I liked him. He's always liked him.
Someone saying the clips with New Jack and Iron Sheik were classic. Did you ever run into the Iron Sheik in your travels?
Yes, we did a shot out here on the West Coast, and that was part of the troubles, part of the troubles with me and Jack at the time. But it's like I said, it's the tag teams. A lot of times I deserve what I got as far as him getting hot at me and mad at me. but uh, but yeah, I ran across and me and Iron, we smoked one together. It was cool. I thought he was cool.
When you were drinking, did you try and stick to beer because it's lower alcohol content and it won't hit you as hard, but you'd still get some alcohol in you? Or did you just like the taste of beer better than hard liquor?
Well, I was more of a beer drinker, and then maybe a shot or something. Maybe a tequila or something like that. But I was more of I just loved the taste of beer at that time.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about there. How did you get along with Missy Hyatt in ECW? Someone wants to know.
Well, we didn't run across Missy. In the dressing room, you pass by and you say hello, and that was about it with that. But Nancy was the woman was the coolest. She smarted me up to the business. She was. I thought she was a great lady.
Any stories about her you could share? Because you don't hear too much about her.
Well, no, what we did was it was me. Let's see, Tuco. Um, we all jump in the room and smoke some weed, and we drinking and things like that. And that's when she would smart me up to the business, what to do, the look, uh, what they looking for if you want to, keep advancing and make money in the business. You know what I'm saying? So she was down there in Florida Championship Wrestling. So down there with Kevin and those guys, and she learned a lot about that business with
Yeah,
those
and
guys.
Kevin told me she was quite a partier too. She would have got along well. I don't know if by this time she would have, but Kevin had told me that she would have liked the same stuff that New Jack was into.
Yes, yes.
After,
Now that the part that I remember the most was I didn't. When you party in these rooms or bars or whatever, you're not just watching people like that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is doing something. Drinking and smoking and snorting and going on. But the part that I remember the most about it was that she always talked to me about the business, and I love that because I'm obsessed with pro wrestling. I was big.
Black Knight wants to know your thoughts of the mass transit incident, looking back on it in 2024.
Well, I know it's water under the bridge, but it should have never happened, man. Right when I seen that dude, that dude shouldn't have gotten the ring. I could tell. I was like, man, what is Paulie? What is he doing, man? Letting this guy get in the ring. I mean, it was it was an ugly night at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It was an ugly night. And no, that really sobered me up that night because I was feeling good before the match, ready to work and things like that. Come to find out Axel couldn't make it, and I was like, wow, this is a trip. So I thought that maybe we would work somebody else that's in ECW already. And then seeing this brother, I was like, wow, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, Axel may not have been in the best shape, but is it even worth bringing in a replacement that looks like that?
No, no, I don't get it. I don't get it. And you know, if he could work, it's one thing. I seen guys as big, you know, but they had some conditioning to them and things like that. But yeah, he shouldn't have been in there.
Yeah, speaking of big guys with conditioning, how did you get along with Bam Bam Bigelow? Ever work with him?
No, I never worked with Bam Bam, but Bam Bam's a cool dude, bro. Yeah, but man, I like Bam Bam. You know, we talked for a minute back in the dressing room and stuff like that. And yeah, he's good people, man. Good people.
Someone wants to know, is it true that back in 1996 they were thinking of bringing you and New Jack in to be part of the Nation of Domination?
Well, it was to me, it was just rumors. They never said anything personally to me about it. They could have, you know. I know D'Lo made it, and he put a smile on my face. I'm glad he made it. You know what I'm saying? He got in there, and because D'Lo's a good guy, and he deserved to get in there.
Like Cream wondering, does Paul Heyman still owe you money?
Probably, you know, but I ain't gonna hold it against him because I took off before all the everything started happening. You know, where they were shutting down and Paulie was uh, working his way up to the WWE. And I took off. I was in Puerto Rico by the time that really went down.
You know it's bad when you're making more money in Puerto Rico than in ECW.
Well, you know the thing about it was I had my hustle game on down in Puerto Rico, so I was making more money outside of that too. The wrestling and you know they pay me good enough to make it work because I was a simple guy. You give me a certain food to eat and I had a roof over my head. Shit, I'm good.
Were you staying at the Dahlia Hotel there, or did you have
I
an
was in the
apartment?
South, yeah,
Yeah.
and I probably ran across some problems of rent and stuff like that. And but they never the thing about it was they never really smartened me up to that. And so you know I did my thing. Man, and you know it got a little heat. I'll tell you that. Got some heat.
Was Brent Dale around at that time by any chance? This guy that wrestled for WWC for like 6 years. He may
Brent
not.
Deal. I don't
Brent.
know.
He had like an amateur wrestling gimmick, but he also lived at the Dahlia for.
I think I might have missed him. I think if I did. I know that uh, Zeb was there. Zeb Colter,
Ah, yeah.
Dutch Mantel.
What did you think of him? Because I know Angel Medina, who comes on this channel a lot, really did not get along with him. I didn't ever really have too many interactions with him myself. What was your opinion of him?
Well, me and Dutch, I used to go hang out with Dutch, you know, all the time. He just smartened me up to the business. I was more, you know, I know a lot of guys don't get along with certain people, but when I was there for the business side, so I wasn't there to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, majority of the world loves evil. You know, I'm not saying that other guys like that, but the majority of the world loves evil. You know, and I try to look at the good side of things in a lot of situations, even though it's not, you know, at times. But I got along with Dutch. Me and Dutch always talked and stuff like that, and he was just smart me up to the business. Told me, hey, you need to pick it up in your match sometime, this and that, and man, and I thank him every day because, you know, at times um, you need some people to reinforce some things for you, and that's what he did for me.
Was he the booker then?
He was a booker, yes. And I
Okay.
called him, and he said, "Man, you finished the ECW?" I said, "Yeah, man." And he said, "Well, get on the next flight to San Juan. Come on." I said, "Let's do it."
You already answered this in another interview with me, but Black Knights and a bunch of other people on here have been asking about the pencil shavings.
Oh yeah, yeah. I told him. I told it in the zigzag there. I was doing zigzag because I didn't smoking in the blunt at that time because I was a terrible blunt roller. So I had to do the zigzag. So I did some pencil shavings and see what it was. It wasn't no different. I think it made my weed a little weaker. Shit. So I didn't do it no more. But I like I had some powerful weed. I used to get them all RVD. I used to get them all Sabu. They thought they had the best. I said, oh yeah, we got it from this guy, and they spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And they said, where you get this from? I said, well, I didn't spend no hundreds of dollars like that. I got a hookup. So
Matthew wants to know the thoughts of the success of your students, Adam Thornstow and El Chupacabra from the indie wrestling world.
yeah, Adam, and Chubi, those guys, man, I'm proud of them. I help train them. Another guy named Brian Brigham. He did a couple of. He was a jobber up in WWE a few times, and we was out in Reno, and we trained those guys, and those guys did well for themselves. You know what I'm saying?
David is wondering what Shane Douglas was like.
Shane has an ego, okay, but Shane, I didn't have no problem with that. When if you play sports at all, or in entertainment business, it's so many people have egos, and it didn't never bother me. I like Shane. I never had nothing person to say bad about Shane, nothing. But he was good people. I thought he was good people, and he just got an ego.
As do a lot of people in wrestling. David
Yeah,
wants to know Mikey Whipwreck. Did you wrestle him, and what are your thoughts on him?
Michael was a good talent, man. And, unfortunately, he didn't pan out like he wanted it to be because I think he went down to WCW and he just didn't know how dog eat dog it was. Or he probably did and he just figured out like, man, I don't know if I can be able to weather the storm. And if you look at it, a lot of guys would take off. Shoot, from Kevin Nash to Steve Austin, everybody took off. They didn't hang down there long. They would go back and forth to WWE. And and I understood it. I stayed in WCW to a certain time, and then when it's time to go, it's time to go.
What was the pay in WCW back then for one-offs? Was it
Well,
better?
it was good enough to keep me out of trouble. That's all I'm saying about that. I never bring up numbers in public like that because you ain't supposed to tell your mama how much money you make.
No.
You
And
know,
and now everybody's overpaid. So compared to
right?
the huge money people will make now, can you even believe it? Like WWE's 350 grand minimum, AEW's 150. They hardly
Um,
work.
well, the Tony Khan, he got the money. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
As far as the business, I have no problem with that. If people saying they overpaid and all that, well, all I say is try to get your job down there. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I'll fully admit I'm jealous.
Oh
Um,
yeah, oh yeah.
Somebody wants to know memories of your matches against Mr. Perfect for WWE in '91 and Jake Roberts.
Oh, the Mr. Perfect, it was good. The music Mr. Perfect come out to is that was a great theme. Man, when you stand there in the ring, you're like, wow, that's some good music. He used to come out to, and he was stiff and everything, but like I said, I thought that was normal. Jake Roberts was the same thing. Jake wasn't stiff or nothing, but Jake was a good dude, man, and he took care of the business. He took care of me when I was in there, and we did the DDT, and he put the snake and laid the snake on you, like that, and then that snake crawling around on you, man. I loved it, but you get an extra payoff for that, getting to do
Oh,
that.
nice.
Right.
Uh,
Pat Patterson Pat Patterson got some heat with a lot of things, and it's a lot of stuff that going on with the WWE at the time right now with McMahon and all that. But Pat was straight up with me, You know, he never it wasn't no business like what I'm hearing about. And I don't, like I said, I can't say whether it's true or not, but it didn't happen none of that happened to me.
I really don't think you were his type, though. He seemed to have a type
Oh,
of,
of
yeah.
course. The thing about it is, I'm glad I'm not. None of their tastes. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, someone wants to know about New Jack and Gypsy Joe. I'm sure you've seen the footage and you watched The Dark Side of the Ring. What did you think of that whole situation?
Well, the Gypsy Joe has always been that reputation of not selling, and I knew that would clash. I knew that would clash, and plus he's probably stiff, and if you get stiff with Jack, he uh, that's what that's the end result. I'm gonna say it like that with Gypsy Joe. It was real bad. You know what I'm saying? So it was ugly, and whether and people say, well, Gypsy Joe's an old guy. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Jack didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Once that heat get up, he ready to fight.
Exactly. David wants to know your thoughts on Terry Funk.
Oh, Terry Funk was flew all the way. I remember one time we had a 6-man tag. It was the Gangsters and D-Lo. We went against Bullet Bob, Terry, and Tracy Smothers. So his back was real bad. He flew all the way back from Japan just to work us. And man, that was I thought that was great. And we had a hell of a show that night, and we was in Knoxville. So we had a good time. He's a good dude. Good dude.
What do you think? You're talking about all the controversy with WWE. What do you think about this whole Vince McMahon, Janelle Grant thing? It seems like she's trying to get herself in the news every week, but the whole situation there with the alleged crapping on her and having Johnny Ace supposedly have sex with her. You think that's true, or do you think they just said that to grab people's attention, like Don Morocco thinks?
Uh, you know, I would think that what they going by is any publicity is is great. They no cover ups or anything like that. It could be staged, but we all know that they have a reputation of some funky things going on back there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that uh, I couldn't tell you that it actually happened, but they don't care. Seems like to me because they're not trying to cover up nothing.
Yeah. Did you see the Vince McMahon Netflix documentary? Someone is asking.
I seen half of it, and then the other part. Once you been up there, you kind of like, wow, that kind of knew what was going on. So I haven't finished watching it though, but I watched half of it.
Very good. If any of the fans want to follow you, where can they look you up? I know you're on Facebook.
Yeah, just tell me, just follow me on Facebook. I got a Instagram, Money Loves Me Saeed deal. Just look me up, and I'm terrible at. You see, I'm 61, so I'm terrible at this stuff. Uh, all this new stuff they got. Now they got AI, so you don't even know if you're talking to a person or not
Yeah.
these days. So they got all this new stuff. Yeah, tell them to look me up. Money Loves Me Saeed on Instagram. What else? Um,
You
man,
look
I
you
got.
look great for 61, by the way.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. You know what, Hannibal, man. One thing about I always thought you was cool, man. You know what I'm saying? Even though before I even met you, and I thought I thought you were good people, and some of the things that I had found out, about you and everything with the Abdullah and things like that. Man, stuff like that. I was like, man, I was kind of feeling for you, and Abdullah, I was with him in Japan,
Yeah,
and
you were in All Japan Pro Wrestling, right? And Big
yeah,
Japan.
yeah. We went to. Well, it was actually Big Japan. They called it Big Japan, and there were so many things the other guys were telling me. He said, "Man, he tries to keep the black wrestlers out of Japan and all kind of things like that." Um, we got along when we was there, and everything. So the stuff that happens between other people, man, is unfortunate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, other than that, I got along with him. He was a mentor to me, but sadly, I
Yes.
mean, he just couldn't stop. He couldn't stop wrestling.
Right.
Whatever.
Well, I think that I'm in that state. I'm gonna keep going. If I can't get in the ring no more, I'm gonna be a manager. So I'm not stopping this thing to the casket drop.
Well, at least you can still get in and out of the ring, because the last couple times I had to wrestle him, I actually had to get behind him and like physically push him
I do a
into the
few
ring.
shoves there, huh?
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Right, man. Uh, same thing with Big Yokozuna, Big Rob, man. Great people, man. When I found out about his death, man, that was stunning, because I was out in Vegas. I was out there kicking it in Vegas with him, and he was telling that he wanted to get into, get back into the business. Vince wanted him back, and we was helping him get in shape and trying to get in shape. And even though we were still eating our ass off, all of us was eating shit. We were tearing some food up out there. But he went to England, and then he never made it back. So that was stunning, man.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Yes,
But at least he lived a good life.
yes, he
He
did.
made it to the top. Everyone's gonna remember him for a long time.
Well, the song that we used to listen to the most was the East Siders. Uh, that was with Snoop Dogg. The East Siders with Snoop Dogg, and we used to listen to that all day. We thumped that all day.
Yeah, I heard he was into that, and he's related to Jacob Fatu too, right? Isn't that his uncle or
Yeah. They
something?
got they
Yeah.
got man. Come on, man. They got a long line, man. I couldn't tell you. Oh, and you know what the thing about it is, all of them are cool, man. Rikishi, all them guys, man. You know, um, they help you as much as they can. They got good hearts, and that's why they're in the position they in. That's why they're in a good position they in.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate you catching up. It's always good to talk to you. I'll let you close this off with whatever you want to tell the fans.
Well, fans, let me tell you something. Always keep your head up, because no matter where you go, the struggle continues. The struggle will continue. Don't care how much money you're making, you're a billionaire, millionaire, or whatever. The struggle gonna continue. So hey, keep your head up and stay strong and fight it all the way through until that time comes. That's all I got to say.